Today's video is going to be a quick overview on how to wire up bumper lights. So on this YJ, we fabricated bumper light mounts, and then I had a pair of these old school Baja brand. I think they used to sell them in like Pep Boys. And they have plastic covers that go over them also. These are amber. And so I went ahead and I cleaned them up, and I put some H3 LED bulbs in off of Amazon. And then we went ahead and wired it. So to wire this, you can actually run the wires straight through these existing holes in the frame unless you have something blocking them. And the wire harness, I just have it zip tied to that crossbar, and the same thing on this side is run through. Now what I'm using is a harness that's a pre-made harness, because I can't make the harness for as cheap as I can buy this. And this already has a relay in it. Hold on. So these harnesses, they come pre-terminated everywhere. So they already got cover on them. They come with a switch with a little boot on it. It's already pre-wired. The relay is pre-wired. Here's your relay. And there's a fuse pre-wired. It's pre-terminated at the ends for lights. So there's two sets of these female spades with the rubber covers on them. There's a fuse holder inside here. Here's your fuse holder. And the part that comes from the relay to the switch for your dash unplugs, so you can disconnect that. Comes with extra fuses. There's 10 amp and 15 amp, and they give you the extra connectors that you need to go on the other side. The only wiring you actually have to do on this is hooking these two ring terminals to the positive and negative on your battery. That's the only actual work I would consider on this. The rest of it's all plug-in, because you just plug these into your light. There's another pair you plug into your other light. And, well, I'll just show you what we did. So, like I said, we ran it through. Now we're going to put loom on all this to cover this up, make it look nice, because we definitely don't want it to get chafed where it's coming through the frame. So it just runs, we just ran it right there underneath of the radiator, zip tied it to that brake line, and then we ran it up here and zip tied it to the harness. We ran it up along the harness and back to there. Now that's a grounding stud, and we did not remove the nut from the grounding stud. There's plenty of room on there for you to add the relay and then another nut. It's a 1/4 stud, so just put the relay on there, put a 1/4 nut on there, snug it down. It's perfect. It's not going to hurt anything. This way you're not drilling extra holes. You're not leaving the relay just laying somewhere as it looks almost like it's supposed to be there. There's plenty of room to reach your battery. I just happen to have a marine battery, so I have the studs on here. You're not going to have that, so you're going to have to unbolt your battery terminal and put the ring terminal on there, and then tighten your battery terminal back up. Always disconnect your negative cable first. Then with that disconnected, hook up your positive wire, then put your negative cable back on, hook up your negative wire. Alright, beyond that, there's a lot of extra slack in here, because obviously a Jeep's way shorter than, say, a pickup truck. So I just zip tied the slack all up. You could put it somewhere else, make it look prettier, but it's good enough. So then we ran it across the top here. You can see we zip tied it to the harness. And then we ran it over to this pre-existing grommet that goes through the firewall. So what I did was I took a pocket knife and I went straight above where that bulk harness is going through there, and I put a slice in it going left to right. Then what we did was we took a piece of old metal coat hanger, we stuck it on this white plug. I'll show you the plug. So you have this white plug here because I have the other part of the harness unhooked from it. So put a piece of coat hanger along this, wrapped electrical tape all over it, and use that as a fish to pull it through the slit that's in there now. I don't know if you can see it. There's too much stuff for the camera to focus on. See the slit? And you can obviously go back if you really wanted to, and you could glue that shut. I don't think that water's going to come in there because I don't think it's swimming, so to speak. So let me come around the other side here. Alright, so this is the connector that I was talking about. So that's what the plug looks like. Oh, here's the plug coming through under the dash there. So we could take and fish it through right to here, because right here is where this is where your switches are going to be. So mine had a blank switch panel there. If you flip it over, you'll notice it's already set up to do the cutouts for switches, because from the factory, this would be like a very deluxe vehicle, I guess. So this is your rear wipe wash. So there's your wash, and that's off, so you got off, wipe, wash, and that would be if you have a hard top with a rear wiper. And then this is your on-off for your rear defroster for a hard top, which I don't have. This is going to be our fog light switch. I don't have a factory one, but I found these on Amazon after a lot of searching, and it looks as close to factory as I can find, and it fits perfect in the factory hole that's in this. So on the back of it, this is how this switch is going to get wired. You have to unplug these from the switch that comes with the little harness. I ended up having to change the connectors on the end because they were a smaller connector. So they're just female spade connectors. And this is pretty small wire. So you could probably use the red ones, but you need to make sure that they're wide enough to fit on the blades on this switch if you're using this switch. So this is how this switch is wired. Your hot goes here, the accessory you're feeding goes here, and then the ground is going to go on the bottom here. This switch, for whatever reason, it's got this extra ground blade here. If you ground that, then this light will stay on all the time. We don't want it to stay on all the time. We want it to be like factory would be, to where you flip it on and this yellow-orange light comes on, showing that it's on. When you flip it off, it turns off. So this is going to be as simple as we're going to plug this in to the other plug there. We're going to screw this back to the dash, and then the dash cover goes on, and that's it. But the other thing I did find, mine's a 93, and mine's a very stripped down vehicle. But the other thing I found is you got this square hole right above your right above where these switches go, and that cover, this goes into it. So this is actually for a light bulb. It's for a very, very small light bulb. I'm thinking I've seen this tiny, tiny little light bulb in like 3rd gen Camaros or Firebirds, either in the console or somewhere in the dash. So I'm going to have to look up find out what size bulb that is, so I can get a bulb for it, put it in there, and it'll light the switch panel up, so you can actually see it. Now the other side where your headlight switch is, it doesn't have that, because obviously this is controlled by the headlight switch. So, you know, this would have to be on all the time to light up your headlight switch for you to see it. I mean, you should basically know where your headlight switch is. But it's nice to have this light up, because that way you can see what switch you're hitting, since there are 3 switches there. Now, I just happen to have picked up this panel that already had these other 2 switches in. You know, you could take, if you have a blank panel, or even if you have a panel with these and you're not using these switches, you can get this, which I purchased, and you could put 3 switches across here and it'll look factory. It'll look like, I mean, that looks like it belongs there, more or less. So, let me get this put back together and we'll show you how it works. Okay, and we're back. We have this all installed now. And there you go. There is your yellow indicator light. Looks like it's factory. Get that out of the way. It's nice and bright. Like I said, if you wired it the other way, this yellow light would always be on. I mean, I guess it's fine if you want to be able to locate this switch, but I'd rather have it go on and off so I know that the damn light is on. So, here's your out front. Here's your amber fog lights. So this project is all done. There will be more, I'm sure, because we've also picked up this light bar. It's factory or aftermarket, but factory style light bar, and it's got some cheap junk Harbor Freight lights up on there. We haven't decided if we're going to wire those or if it's just going to be on there for looks, because it's not like we plan to off-road with this or anything. So that may be a future video right there. I will try to look up the part numbers for like this harness and that switch, if you like that switch, because this harness, what it comes with, again, it comes with this little round switch, which is fine. I mean, I guess you could take that blank plate off, and since it's marked out on the back where the factory switches should be, you could drill a hole from the back inside one of those openings, the size you need for this, and put this in there, and it would look just as nice. I just wanted something that looked factory, but that's what it comes with on these harnesses. So again, there's your H3 LED bulbs in here, and these had halogens in them originally. So it's nice to be able to put the LED bulbs in, because the LED bulbs are plenty bright, but they don't draw amperage. And even though I've got the relay and stuff on there, I've still got that small factory alternator. So it's nice to have extra lights that don't draw a lot of power. So hopefully you all find this useful, and we will see you again.